Job postings for one specific AI role jumped 800% in a single year. Companies like OpenAI and Palantir are aggressively competing to hire for it. An MIT study looked at hundreds of enterprise AI projects and found that 95% of them produced zero measurable business impact. The models worked fine in testing. The failures happened because integrating AI into messy, legacy corporate systems is incredibly difficult. We compare a forward-deployed engineer to a solutions architect and core AI engineer. Solutions architects build blueprints on fake data. Core AI engineers stay at headquarters training models, but forward-deployed engineers embed on the customer site, writing real code inside restrictive legacy networks. Taking this job means trading a predictable engineering sprint for heavy travel, constant ambiguity, and being held directly responsible for whether the client actually renews their contract. It is a hybrid position built for people who tolerate chaos. Their job is to bridge the gap between impressive lab demos and actual corporate utility. The massive hiring surge has driven total compensation for mid-level engineers to $385,000, with senior staff clearing $600,000 a year at the frontier labs. But looking at this breakdown of a typical $600,000 package, a significant portion is tied up in illiquid private company equity rather than guaranteed cash. This pie chart shows an FDE's true schedule. 50 deep technical focus takes a backseat to managing client crises and fixing data pipelines. Job postings for these roles typically demand 3 to 7 years of traditional software engineering experience before you even apply. This diagram illustrates the T-shaped skill profile companies look for during interviews, balancing deep technical execution on the vertical axis against a broad range of AI and customer skills on the horizontal. The vertical depth is the baseline requirement. You need absolute fluency in Python or TypeScript and the ability to deploy applications using cloud infrastructure like Kubernetes and AWS. The horizontal breadth is what actually secures the job. You have to understand AI agent frameworks, fine-tuning techniques, and possess the customer empathy required to navigate corporate politics. For an experienced developer, moving into this role carries a specific risk. Spending years configuring other companies' platforms can cause your core technical problem-solving skills to atrophy. You also have to dedicate significant time outside of work to learn those required AI frameworks just to pass the interview, adding a layer of burnout before day one. Transitioning into an FDE role allows an experienced engineer to bypass entry-level competition and increase their pay, but it requires giving up a protected coding environment in exchange for heavy customer interaction. If you recently graduated, applying directly to AI startup postings asking for 5 years of experience will result in immediate rejection. Your target should be the structured, entry-level tracks at larger organizations like Palantir, Google Cloud, and Salesforce, which have the resources to train junior hires. Standing out in these specific programs requires abandoning the standard coding bootcamp projects and building something entirely different. This side-by-side checklist compares a low-value beginner portfolio, like a toy chatbot on clean data, against a high-value portfolio built around messy, real-world integration. You need to scrape an actual disorganized dataset, connect it to a real external API, and handle the ugly edge cases that make up 80% of enterprise work. Next, you have to run evaluations on your system. Wrapping your project in an eval framework proves with hard numbers that the output is actually reliable. Finally, you must write a scoping document. Explaining the engineering trade-offs you made and how you resolved edge cases directly mimics the exact documentation an FDE hands to a client. You break into this field by leaving the simple AI wrappers behind and mathematically proving you can handle the friction of real corporate deployment. This quadrant chart maps the need for mentorship on the y-axis against the desire for business impact on the x-axis. Engineers needing clear specs face burnout in the upper left. The ideal candidate sits in the lower right, self-motivated founders who thrive in ambiguity. Once hired, the culture is notoriously sink or swim. You are dropped into client sites with almost no traditional handholding. Surviving requires a mindset of radical ownership. You have to interrogate the client, constantly asking them why a process exists before you ask how to automate it, ensuring you fix the actual bottleneck. If that sounds overwhelming, the safer route is to take a pure software engineering role first. Spend 2 years building your technical intuition and getting proper mentorship before pivoting. The forward-deployed engineer role offers massive financial upside and career leverage, provided you are willing to trade the safety of a quiet codebase for the high-stakes reality of enterprise problem-solving.